Hello, welcome to Christmas Flashback. We're going to go back through some of Speak Life's older Christmas films, as well as give people a behind-the-scenes look at our latest one, the Christmas Countdown.
That's right. So let's get on with it.
Come on.
Here it is.
3 is first when counting down, the Father, Son, and Spirit bound, before all things behind, above, a unity, joy, hope, and love. Then sent by love and filled with joy, God's hope became a baby boy.
Glenn, where are we in this video?
So we are set within a church, which is also the setting for 321, which people can access by going to 321course.com, and it's our Life According to Jesus, our evangelistic course. And we've set the poem here in the middle of this church, and the lovely sort of old Book of Kells kind of book has the words of the poem, and you've had that brilliant idea, Nate, of the pages kind of blowing around, giving us a sense of the magic inside the church. And we end up at a lovely Christmas scene at the stained glass window. And we're trying to capture lots about Christmas, including the Christmas carols. People can guess how many Christmas carols are embedded into the words and music.
You're going to make them guess how many there are. We're not going to tell them how many there are and see if
I'm
they
in
can
two
find
minds.
all of them.
Can they find all 38 of the Christmas carols?
Some are easier to spot than others.
Yeah.
And I think what I enjoy so much about this video is just that it feels so classically Christmassy.
Yes.
And now, we want to say the first Christmas wasn't like this, but somehow our traditions have developed in the Western world to consider Christmas by candlelight, to sing these old carols in these brick buildings with this beautiful stained glass, and to associate Christmas with surprise and sparkle and joy and warmth in the darkness. So.
And I'd be lying if I said that this wasn't in some ways a response to Marks and Spencer's "This Christmas Do Only What You Love," which was their Christmas ad, in which they took Christmas traditions through the shredder and took a baseball bat to tradition.
Yeah.
And I guess we're planting a flag and saying, actually, these traditions are meaningful. And actually, as you surrender to them, there's something beautiful about not doing what you love, but by being held within a story in which love is beyond you, and you sort of submit to it. And I think that's where you find true Christmas joy.
So that, in terms of the atmosphere we've created, in terms of the aesthetic of the video, it is this kind of classic, traditional, old-fashioned, kind of Thomas Kinkade paintings were inspiring us in some ways. Some would say it's overly sentimental, but we believe that it's a setting that has developed as the West has explored the meaning of the incarnation, the wonder of Christmas as Christ, the light of the world, descends down to join us in the darkness. But also the structure of this is clearly very strong, shall we say. There's a schema to this poem. It's not just a bunch of carols thrown together. Just talk a little bit about what do you mean by the Christmas Countdown?
Christmas Countdown is Christmas according to 321. So 3 is about God's threeness, God is Father, Son, and Spirit. 2 is about the two Adams. There's the first Adam who fell, and then Christ becomes that second humanity in order to raise us up. And then 1 is about, well, he became one with us. Won't you be one with him? And I think you can understand Christmas, and really you can only understand Christmas if you understand that, he's the second of the 3.
Yeah.
He is the Son of the Father filled with the Spirit. You're not going to understand Christmas if you don't understand that. You're also not going to understand Christmas unless you understand that he is redoing Adam's life and doing it right. And so he's the second Adam. This, the meaning of the 2, the second of the 3 became the second of humanity. And then you're not going to understand Christmas either if you don't understand that he became what we are, so that we might become what he is. That's a really ancient way of describing Christmas. He becomes one with us so that we might be one with him. And so 3, 2, and 1 is this gospel explanation that I've been kind of trotting out for the last 12, 13 years. But I think it really finds its own at Christmas, because you just don't understand why "Lo, within the manger lies he who built the starry skies," unless you're thinking about 3, and you don't really understand what for until you understand, well, he's the second Adam, and you don't really understand your personal connection to it unless you understand he's one with you, that you might be one with him.
Christmas Countdown. And we were delighted to work with some incredibly talented people on this. Josh Lucas providing the music.
I think we're going to count down. We're going to flash back to 15 different Christmas videos. Mm-hmm. I haven't counted up how many are Josh Lucas, but probably half. He's a stunning composer. Just love working with Josh.
I think if you hear his music, you only get 10% of what Josh Lucas is, because being on a Zoom call with him as he's talking about how the oboes are going to come in, how the strings are going to drive in, he's just very wonderfully enthusiastic about the shape and the dance of music as well as
just watch with headphones on. Mm-hmm. with all his films. It's just it's beautiful. I said to him, look, I want John Williams doing Harry Potter is what I want.
In a Thomas Kinkade
Christmas, and I want you to weave in a certain number of Christmas carols, and I'm not going to tell you how many, but you can guess in the comments how many Christmas carols he weaves in.
We have thrown as many things as possible into one single video this year, so I'm sure people are going to enjoy it.
At Speak Life, we believe what you love, you share, and we've been your partners in shareable faith for many years now. We want people to be able to share their faith without delay, without shame, and without cost. But doing that is not cheap. In fact, it costs us, for instance, £6.83 per day just to host 321 on our learning platform. Plus, we have 9 staff and only 160 regular donors so far. We want to get to 260 donors by the 15th of December. Is that something that you could help with? If you come in between the 1st and the 15th of December, you'll get this book, The Gift, a Christmas book that I wrote a few years ago, for free as our gift to you. You'll also be able to come in on the Members Lounge, where we have a lively chat community and plenty of bonus content. And you'll have your gift to us matched by some generous match donors. There's never been a better time for you to support Speak Life. If that's something you've ever thought about, today is the day. Go to speaklife.org.uk/appeal and become one of the 100. Now, back to the conversation.
Let's go to one that I think possibly was many people's first experience of Glen Scrivener doing Christmas poetry.
Yes.
Okay, which is Santa versus Jesus.
Santa versus Jesus. A lot of people know it as Santa versus Jesus. Some people know it as the anti-Santy ranty.
They say there's a big man who lives far away, supposedly jolly, but it's hard to say. I've never seen him and neither have you. But the children believe, and I suppose that'll do.
The first time it went up on YouTube, I did a Christmas carols, I think it was like on the 21st or 22nd of December. And then somebody said, why don't we film it tomorrow? And so we filmed it the next day and we uploaded it by like the 23rd of December. And by Christmas Day, it had like 10,000 views or something. That was the first experience I think I'd had really of a video that does well. And a couple of years later, we redid it as Santa versus Jesus.
But of course, that was easier. It was easier to get people watching YouTube videos back then because there were only about 7 YouTubers, weren't there? Whereas now, everyone's a YouTuber.
And if a blogger linked to your YouTube video, what's a
blogger?
Yeah, I know. A web blogger like Tim Challies linked to you, and then all of a sudden you got the massive
Have you been linked to
spike
by Tim Challies?
Like twice or 3 times maybe.
Informing the Reforming or whatever it was.
Yeah, he did that. Yeah.
Big blog back in the day. Ask your parents about it.
No, he's still blogging.
Is he still going?
Oh, he had an unbroken, like he's got like 1,000, no, he's got like many thousands of days of unbroken logging.
Wow.
Yeah.
His streak is undefeatable. But Santa versus Jesus, the concept, I think what was so brilliant about this was that the initial idea was so powerful, and then it was executed through the spoken word poem and then through the video as well. When did that first initial idea that some people's vision of God is their vision of Santa Claus, when did that come and what does that look like?
I think I was doing a talk on Isaiah 9 and just to us a child is born, to us the son is given. And it just struck me as the very, and I think it was Christmas season and I was listening to, he sees you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sakes. Yeah. Who could not be anti-Santa?
I mean, it depends how you sing it, doesn't it? But even though that line, so be good for goodness sake. For goodness sake, behave yourself.
And I was on a train, and I saw these parents like basically say to this child, shut up or Santa won't come this year.
Oh, right.
And it sort of became very obvious to me, like he is just enforcing the moralism of parents all around the world. Yeah. This nasty legalist. And so just the vitriol came out in rhyming couplets, and there you have it.
And this precedes Elf on the Shelf, is that right?
Yeah, probably.
Elf on the Shelf
Elf on the Shelf just takes the surveillance to another level,
Because
really
of all the
does.
things in that terrible M&S Christmas Thismas advert, the one thing where you're just like, Elf on the Shelf, is that really a tradition?
Yeah.
It's just some kind
Take
of...
a baseball bat to that. But then, interestingly, Hannah
Nanny
Waddingham,
state.
at the end of that film, the one thing she saves from it is the Elf on the Shelf. Like, no, that ad could not be worse, could it?
Only thing we need to learn.
So, actually, this, I remember, I did ask Josh Lucas to do the music for this, but it was too nice. And so I just wanted a really chintzy, like if you start off the music, you'll hear the bossa nova. Like,
yeah.
This was my guide track. They say there's a big man who lives far away, supposedly jolly, but it's hard to say. I've never seen him, and neither have you.
And I was like, Josh, we really need like elevator music. Can you do that? And Josh was like,
what if it's
Hans Zimmer he can do, John Williams he can do, elevator music. Glen, why don't you do that?
So one of the things about this video is that if anyone is looking for a gruesome screenshot of you, this is like you don't want to cross Glen if you just pause the video at 43 seconds.
Oh, I forgot.
You might be wearing like a Stone Island coat and about to go and drink 15 cans of Heineken outside Millwall Football Club. I mean, that's the way. That's the vibe I'm getting.
In a Santa hat and a little Easter egg for people at around about what was it going to be? There we go. At the 50-second mark.
Is she? She's
flipping
flipping a bird.
She's flipping the bird, and none of us caught it. None of us like as we were editing this film, we must have seen that footage at least 20 times, and nobody caught the fact that
Well, if you're watching, the lady who chose to do that,
we'll pixelate it.
Be good, for goodness sake. Santa's watching. No.
Cole.
The other thing is, I reckon your accent is significantly more Australian in this video.
Yeah. 10 years ago. Yeah.
10. I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know. Still softening all the time.
Children have done that to me as well.
Okay.
Like when you have children that talk like Dick Van Dyke, say, you just find yourself.
Okay.
That is how you sound. I'm just saying.
Okay.
So on that bombshell, that's Santa versus Jesus.
Let's
or
move
the
on, and
ranty.
we come to 4 Kinds of Christmas, multi-award-winning video from 2015, and asked which Christmas are you, Scrooge, Shopper, Santa, or the Stable?
I like the darkness. At least it's cheap. I keep adjusted to the gloom, the creeping doom that soon consumes the earth in tombs. I hum its tune, assume its tone, and make my home right here, in the only world we know, this world of woe. Let others throw their festive flings. I think I'll keep my 5 gold rings. 4 cooling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves. She loves the doves. Yeah, shove it on the card above.
What were the awards that you won for that video?
We won both a Jerusalem Award and a Premier Digital Award that year in 2015, and so the thumbnail of it has like those 2 laurel wreaths on the cover. But I don't like watching it because the sound is so. Well, we had a crying baby on set, and that's a bit of a spoiler because as we kind of slowly zoom out, you eventually see the baby. Now that baby was crying throughout the scene, and when you understand what a manger actually is, you understand why a baby would cry. And
not comfy.
It's not comfy, and the little Lord Jesus, much crying he would have made, not no crying he makes. And in fact, it is a Lucas child who is Jesus in this, and it's actually a she is our Jesus. So there's another behind the scenes.
It's a she.
Our Jesus is female.
What's so brilliant about this video, I think, is just the fact that it's a one-er, right? It's
Yep,
a single
it's a one-er.
take, and you're managing to, with some help, how many people were helping behind the camera or underneath the camera?
Yeah, stage hands. There must have been at least 20 stage hands who, most of them from All Souls Church in Eastbourne. And there's a Bissett. Very, very few Speak Life videos can do without a Bissett.
Yes.
And Santa Claus will be another Bissett. There he is.
Okay. Look at that.
Isn't it a rich red as well?
It is. It's bright and it's cheerful.
His Santa voice is just ideal.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
My little flourish with my hands here.
Okay.
I really don't like it. But basically, the Anti-Santy Ranty and Four Kinds of Christmas came from the same Christmas talk that I was doing about Isaiah chapter 9, in which to us a child is born, to us a son is given. And I kind of based the entire talk around, there is much gloom at Christmas, but you don't need to be a Scrooge. And there is joy, but that doesn't mean that it's all about being a shopper. And whereas Santa stays at a distance, to us a child is born, and then therefore the stable is the ultimate Christmas. And so this became a book, and there was even an online quiz, and you can still go to fourkindsofchristmas.com, and you can do the fun Christmas quiz, and it'll ask you, what's your favorite, Christmas song? And if you, hit Fairy Tale of New York, you're probably heading towards being a Scrooge, maybe. What's your favorite Christmas film? Die Hard. Okay, you're probably going to end up as Scrooge. And people love a Christmas quiz, and you can still do that. And we gave away loads of books through the Four Kinds of Christmas outreach. And and the video is sort of my least favorite part of the whole outreach, largely because we had to redo the audio. And I can tell.
I know, but this is
what
sync, people don't realise is how particular you are about the sound and how sort of agitated you are about it. Whereas,
I know.
So you should be partially deaf like me, and then you won't notice. You just look at the images. But there we go, Four Kinds of Christmas, and that was 2015.
15? So it won the prize in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it was 2015. Yeah.
So now we come to, I think this is our most viewed one, right?
Yes.
Which is He Came Down.
To earth from heaven. So in 2016. So Sally Phillips, great actress, comedian, she did a BBC documentary about a world without Downs. She has a child, a son,
Ollie,
Ollie, who has Down syndrome. And she did this documentary because the NHS were bringing in non-invasive prenatal tests that can detect Down syndrome in the womb. And in all the countries that brought in non-invasive prenatal tests, 95+% of mothers chose to abort their children. And so she was trying to make the case for, wouldn't it be a loss to have a world without Downs? And I thought to myself, well, why don't we kind of show a world with Downs? In fact, why don't we show a world in which there's nothing but Downs?
For Joseph, this ruling meant Bethlehem town, so they rode on their donkey all the way down.
Let's do a nativity, because a nativity is a little world. It's a microcosm, and orbiting around the light of the world, Jesus. You've got the angels up above, and you've got the animals down below, and you've got the shepherds who are the lowest of the low, and the magi who are the rich. The shepherds themselves are Jews, the magi are Gentiles, and so you unite heaven and earth. You unite Jew and Gentile. You unite rich and poor, all around the little Lord Jesus. And so, of course, Jesus has to have Down syndrome as well, because, he became what we are, that we might become what he is. Yeah. And I do always joke that if you're not crying by the end of this film, you are a concrete Vulcan, because, I can't even look at it. It's just too beautiful. Yeah. But,
and it's based on, was it based on this as well?
Yeah,
this painting?
That was definitely in the mix.
So there was a painting called, what's it called? Well, it's written as an article that I'm looking at right now. The Adoration of the Christ Child, which is a pretty classic nativity painting, but Jesus is depicted in this painting from almost 500 years ago as a person with Down syndrome. So there's a few hundred years of heritage behind showing Jesus as one of us, even in these frail ways.
Yes, yeah. And so, yeah, I can't watch it without crying. It's just the most beautiful thing, especially to see the love of a mother for her child. And you get that in a number of different ways. You get Hend Ezat, who is the mother in this, who's just telling her story, and she's very much identifying with Mary and telling Mary's story. And then right at the end, the mother of the baby Jesus is just bouncing the baby up and down, and it's just gorgeous, isn't it?
It's very maternal, and the Magnificat as a strong thing. We do think of Mary at Christmas, most highly favoured lady. And so the real power of this is, just hearing her testimony of God's grace in her life to provide her with such a gorgeous and adorable daughter.
Yeah. No, it's a beautiful one. Always have a special place in my heart, that one.
And doesn't have you in it as well.
That's good.
So there's you're not even doing a voiceover. So,
no. And Debbie from All Souls Eastbourne, she's doing the voiceover.
Okay.
And that's lovely.
It's beautiful. And let's have a look at this one. Meet the Nativity. This was probably the biggest undertaking of a Christmas video when it came out. 4-part time-travelling rom-com.
What shall I call him, my lord and lady?
Well, it's fine.
It's massive.
It's just home.
Have you got a butler?
No, I don't have a butler. Come here, give me a kiss.
Happy Crimbo, Mum and Dad!
My inspiration for that was there's an apocryphal tale about Christmas in which the shepherd shows up to the nativity scene empty-handed, and all the other shepherds are saying, well, what have you brought the king? And he's like, I didn't know I had to bring anything. And they're all busy kind of giving Jesus things, but the wise men are offering their gifts, and Joseph takes the gold and the frankincense, and Mary, in order to take the myrrh, has to offload Jesus to someone so that she can take the gifts.
Yeah.
Who's she going to give Jesus to?
Offload Jesus this Christmas.
Throw the dummy. And of course she gives him to the empty-handed guy who's got nothing. Yeah. And so how do you modernize that? Who's going to be empty-handed? Who's going to feel all at sea at Christmas? I've spent a lot of Christmases as the son-in-law at somebody else's Christmas, and they're doing their thing, and so it sort of came naturally to write in the boyfriend as Will, just played beautifully by Ant. What's his name?
Joblin. Is that his last name?
Played beautifully by Ant Joblin, and he's such a great comic actor. And
very much in the sort of Some Mothers Do Have 'Em type. Frank Spencer. There's an awkwardness. Just looking at him, I feel awkward.
Yeah. So brilliant casting, and at the end, he ends up meeting this very chocolate box nativity that happens to be somehow magically in the pool house at the bottom of the path. And he completely improvised that final line, which I think makes the whole episode.
Got a name?
Got a name. Beautiful.
Yeah.
As soon as he said that, we were like, yes, that was it.
Finchley, is it far? It's on the Northern Line.
And then if you like, you can not only do episode 1, but we then tell the girlfriend's story, we then tell the stepmother's story, we then tell the father's story, and bring it to a sort of a happy ending with family gathered around the baby.
Wonderful. Well, there we are. 5 of our big hitters in terms of Christmas videos. Well, certainly the first one we're hoping is going to be a big hit this Christmas, the Christmas Countdown.
But that depends on you.
Linking to Evangelistic Course 321, which you can find on 321course.com.
But what we do at Christmas is something we like to do all year round at Speak Life. We are into shareable faith. We want to be your partners in shareable faith. We want to give you gospel seed that you can scatter far and wide, not just Christmas videos, but so many other shareable films and podcasts and other media. And so we need your help. This Christmas, we are having a Christmas appeal. And between the 1st of December and the 15th of December, we want to find another 100 regular donors for Speak Life. And one of the great benefits of giving in this period is that anybody who comes on board as a regular donor between the 1st and the 15th of December, your giving for the next year will be matched by a generous match funder. So your generosity will be doubly as effective if you get on board with us in the first 15 days of December. We really hope that you will, because we honestly can't do this without you. We've got 160 regular donors right now. We need to get it up to 260 regular donors by December the 15th. So can you help us?
So get your giving matched and become one of the 100 today, right now. Go and do it.